Welcome to Lord Roberts Junior Public School, Remembrance Day Assembly 2021. Let us all stand for the land of acknowledgement.
We acknowledge we are hosted on the lands of the Mississaugas of the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Wendat. We also recognize the enduring presence of all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples.
Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem, O Canada, performed by Miss Vieira's grade 1 class, under the instruction and accompanied by Mr. Walazade on electric guitar.
Little Poppy, give it to me. Help me keep Canada safe and free. I will wear a little poppy. As the wind can be.
To show that I remember,
Those who fought for me.
The junior classes at Lord Roberts have been talking these past few weeks about Remembrance Day and the importance of it. And we had this opportunity to interview a soldier who was in Afghanistan. So the classes collaborated, came up with some interview questions, and next you will watch a clip of that interview.
Good morning, Lord Robert. I am Master Corporal Nevis, former infantry soldier with the Royal Canadian Regiment, 3rd Battalion, November Company, my company, and Para, Correction and Quebec Company. I had the opportunity to serve overseas in Afghanistan, Kandahar City. I served with the military for 15 years, at which point I decided it was time for a change in career path. I'm currently a firefighter with Toronto Fire Services, and I'm definitely honored that I was asked to sit here and answer some questions for you on this very special day where we remember, where we sit down or we stand at a cenotaph and remember a lot of my brothers and sisters who didn't come home with me. And of course, other veterans from past wars, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and many more that are not as remembered. Some of the most humble people I have met were of the Afghan culture. Humble, very, very humble, very welcoming. I look at the true Muslim, their true religion, they were phenomenal. Again, some of the kindest, most humbling people. And then we had the extremists, which were somewhat of our enemy. Again, these people didn't have much. They didn't have running water. They didn't have electricity, no cell phones, no internet, no TV. Lucky if they got 3 meals a day. And yet nothing brought them down. And every time we came around, it was, if there was no enemy around, we knew they were smiling and they were happy and they were welcoming. Even some of our interpreters were amazing. I had a lot of touching moments in Afghanistan. But my most memorable one was I was working out of FOB Wilson, or Forward Operating Base in Wilson, and we were on a foot patrol through a very small village. And I wish I could show you the photos. I have a few, but as I'm patrolling, I see what looks like a hut built out of hay, and I go sitting outside. But what killed me inside is I watched 6 or 7 children walk out of this hut. A whole family lived there. This one goat provided food for this whole family. They had nothing. No running water, no electricity, no internet. They all slept in the same little hut. And it was sad and it was painful because there was nothing I could do at the time to help this family. I had a mission, and my mission at the time was to escort some of our VIPs so that they can in turn have meetings with these village elders so that we can potentially bring resources into this community. However, that was easier said than done, just because the Taliban were everywhere. Our enemy was everywhere. That was sad. But the reality of it is this was everywhere. It wasn't just this little village. It was all over the place. You know, the only people who got to really go to school were the wealthy kids that their parents were drug lords or warlords. It was a very unfair environment. It just again made me appreciate life more than anything else today. You know, you guys, ladies and gents, you are so blessed to be able to go to school, to be free, to wear a hat however you want, to wear your hair how you want, to go home to mom and dad every day. These children didn't have anything. They didn't have that. I often would watch, you know, children come through the battlefield and they'd be picking up the shells or brass that we'd leave behind after a firefight. So when you fire a bullet, the projectile, the little ejection thing that comes out is made of brass, and they'd collect that and they'd make things with it. They'd build little toys, or little kids with homemade kites, and they'd fly those. And I used to sit on Overwatch and just think about it, embrace it, how something so small brought somebody so much joy, and how we take everything for granted here in North America. And whenever I'm feeling down or I'm upset or life isn't going the way I like it to go, I remember that time, how somebody with nothing would always smile, always be happy. They got to live another day or they got another meal. That stuck with me for a long period of time, and it still does today. I also had another job. I was trained in tactical combat casualty medicine or care. So if any of my team members got hurt, I was able to perform very complex medical treatment on them in the field medicine. So that was always part of my job, and it was the one I didn't like the most. I didn't want to get to that point where I had to use my medical supplies to take care of a fellow soldier or a very important person or a VIP. Fortunately, we live in a beautiful nation where choice is still an option. I decided to deploy. That was something I've always wanted to do. And I was very lucky that I get to make that choice. We got to be aware that there's a lot of countries out there in the world that force their citizens to serve 2-3 years in the military once they reach a certain age, some even longer. So I'm definitely blessed that I got to make that choice. I was proud. I was happy. I was excited. I was looking for this adventure. I was going to serve my country. I was wearing this uniform that I was so proud of, this Canadian flag on my shoulder. It was something that I've always wanted to do. As a child, I wanted to be a soldier and I wanted to be a firefighter. Those were the two goals. And I finally got to go over after all this training, and it felt like I accomplished the goal. Downside was I didn't know what I was getting myself into. It definitely wasn't the movies. It's very different, very, very challenging. Again, there was nothing I could have done to prepare to what I experienced over there. And this was Afghanistan. I can only imagine what other veterans veterans experienced in or going through World War I, World War II. At least I got to go overseas and deploy and serve my country with top of the line equipment, top of the line technology. I don't know how to describe what I've seen over there because you probably wouldn't believe me. It was hard. It was really difficult. Unfortunately, war, and even with my current career path, we see people succumb to their injuries all the time or pass away overseas, Afghanistan, Kandahar City, or Pashtun, Pashtun North, or Panjwai District. There was a lot of exchange of fire, and there was a lot of explosives, and there was a lot of people who died that shouldn't have died. Yes, I had a full separation on my left shoulder. I currently have pins and needles holding my shoulder in, and I have a bit of shrapnel down my right leg. Spent a bit of time in the hospital recovering, but I'm good and healthy, and think, I'm just so grateful for it. Yes, yeah, I lost a lot of friends, and it tears me up inside. I miss them every day. Every single day I think about them. And it's hard. I've had many obstacles. The most challenging one was coming home and not being angry with the people around me, not being angry with my family. And the reason I was angry was because, and I'll never forget it, I came home and one of my nieces was sitting at the dinner table, and Mom served her, and she says, I don't like this. So Mom gave her something else, and she says, I don't like this. And it really angered me inside because I knew there was children sitting in Kandahar City who wouldn't even get to eat a meal that day and who would have loved to have a full belly, but they don't know what a full belly feels like. They've never had a full belly. Can you imagine just being hungry all the time? And that bothered me for a really, really long time because I always was hesitant to say something, but sometimes I would snap and I'd be really upset. And even today with my own children, they have so much and they don't know how blessed they are. And I'm still trying to overcome that anger. Adjusting back to reality was very difficult and very challenging. You spend so much time in a different country where people, let's say people, your enemy or the other soldiers coming after you so you're always on guard, you're always on edge. Every little bang, every little blast, every little scream, a door slamming, and you're jumping up and you're looking for your rifle. You do that for so long, and then you try to come back to a busy country, and your significant others work, all your friends have jobs, and now you're off on vacation for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month, and you go from a very high-paced, stressful environment to peace, and you don't know what to do with yourself. You start pacing back and forth. You start, you try to find different ways to entertain yourself. You're working out constantly. You're watching all kinds of movies and stuff. But the fact that it doesn't feel real anymore. Peace doesn't feel like just sitting there on a couch is not normal. So it took a bit of time, and through counseling, and again the gym, and because of all my brothers and sisters that I deployed with were from all over Canada. It just wasn't like I can drive to their house and sit down and enjoy a drink and talk to them. We kind of all just took our time and healed in different ways. Some of us are still healing today. Routine definitely changed for me. My perspective on life changed for me. I'm still adjusting. I'm still trying to get back to normal. I don't know what normal is anymore. I just know that I'm safe. I know that I have beautiful friends and family, and I'm grateful for them. And I can be proud to put on my uniform and go work with the fire department, because that is a blessing. Or to be able to do an online school course, or just, I appreciate life so much more today. I hope I answered all your questions. I did to the best of my ability. I hope you guys have a better understanding of my time in Afghanistan was like. And I hope you learned something from this. When you go home today, hug your mom and dad and tell them thank you for everything they've done for you. Tell your teachers thank you. You guys don't know how good you have it. Life is wonderful. Be kind to each other. Admire each other. Compliment each other. And be grateful for what you have. And I hope and pray that none of you ever experience war or ever see it. I hope you stay safe for the rest of your lives, because it is horrible and it's unspeakable and very painful and traumatic. And I don't think anybody should ever experience or go through what I went through overseas, go through what my brothers went overseas, and see the things and do the things we did. Anyways, thank you so much. I hope you learn a lot and keep moving forward. Master Nevis out.
The day I shipped out, they numbered a dozen. Upon my return, we're 100 or so, from the coast and from the prairies. I bet they keep coming. Add one more name from Ontario and carry me home down the highway of heroes. People above with the flags flying low. Carry me softly down the highway of heroes. True patriot love, there was never more. I served with distinction, no visions of glory. I served without question, a personal gain. Seek no justification, it's not part of my story, and it offers no comfort to the ones who remain. Just carry me home down the highway of heroes. People above, but the flags flying low. Carry me softly down the highway of heroes. True patriot love, there was never more. Took up my vocation, I was called by my nation without hesitation. My answer I gave. Now I'm not wondering the things that I might have been, are no consolation to the forgotten brave. So carry me home down the highway of heroes. People above with the flags flying low. Carry me softly down the highway of heroes. True patriot love, there was never with the hands down low, and carry me softly down the highway of heroes, true patriot love. There was never more, 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 there was never more.
Happy we are for children small. We are too little to do it all. Children who made junior cross, love each other and have to start. Play without fighting, share games and toys. Be kind and thoughtful to all girls and boys.
In Flanders field the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row.
That mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly.
Scarce heard amid the guns below.
We are the dead. Shut days ago we live, felt dawn, and saw sunset glow.
Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields.
Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw.
The torch be yours to hold in high.
If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
You will remember them.
I will remember them.
You will remember them.
"2021 is the 100th anniversary of the poppy. Anna Gourn, a woman living in France, had read Canadian John McCrae's famous poem in Flanders Fields and got the idea to use the poppy as a flower of remembrance so she could raise money to help the poor children who were living in parts of Europe that had been damaged during the war.
In July 1921, she visited Canada and shared her ideas of using the poppy as a symbol of remembrance with the Great War Veterans Association, which later became the Royal Canadian Legion.
Since that day, in July of 1921, we in Canada continued to wear the poppy during the month of November, and especially on November 11th, to remember all of the veterans who fought for our freedom.
you.